This is I Love Black People Radio on HUR Voices, Sirius XM Channel 141. I Love Black People is more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong worldwide. I am because we are. Special thanks to AFLAC for supporting I Love Black People Radio.
Greetings, amazing, dynamic, wonderful. I love Black people. Definitely love you being our listeners. And of course, we love Black people. So thank you so much for joining us on this journey again. And actually coming to you live from South Africa. I had to cut my trip short. But as you know, I'm the co-founder of I Love Black People. Our other co-founder is Christopher Mapendera. We both attended Howard University, and we have an office in Harare, Zimbabwe, as well as Washington, D.C. So we are able to build out a incredible safety net with your support using our I Love Black People app. And it's been based off the model of the Green Book, where sometimes it gets confused with a Black business directory when it really is a safety net. Back during Jim Crow or American apartheid from 1930s to 1960s, Victor Green had a book that literally gave listings of Black friendly places where no matter where you were traveling, you could actually find a place to sleep, eat, as well as transportation help that was going to be helpful to you and not discriminate or harm you. That being said, fast forward to 2024, we still definitely need places that are safe. And unlike what the original Green Book was talking about, travel is a vulnerable situation. Well, you get sick, you're going to be vulnerable. So when you're traveling, you're vulnerable because you don't know people. When you're sick, you're vulnerable because your body is not functioning correctly, or if you're in a legal situation where now the government or some entity is trying to do something to you, you're vulnerable and you need to get good help. And that help, you definitely don't want it to be racist or Afrophobic. And we say the word Afrophobia, and Afrophobia is the irrational fear or hatred of people perceived to be of African descent. And we say African descent, there's people who are of all types, and some say they're African, some say they're Black, some say they're indigenous, a host of names. But we're really talking about the 1.5 billion people that originate from Africa. And of course, as most of you know, that race is a fictional, not a scientific. So we're clear that even whatever name people call themselves, we're more alike than we are different. But we're very clear that racism is real and Afrophobia is real, and the consequences are deadly and harmful. So what we are doing and what we continue to build is using technology and a level of Pan-African unity to create these solutions through crowdsourcing from our members. And we're so thankful for our listeners and our members who contribute to what we're doing. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. And so as it relates to the media, having this show on XM Radio or our app, all of this is made possible because of your input and your support. So again, I love Black people, and we're thankful for all of you who do. And if everyone does a little bit, no one has to do a lot. Well, just kicking it off, this season, we bring on interns. So we're bringing on interns, and Techstars are hard places to work for. It's not like working on a government job. And again, I'm not saying government work is, I do remember being in corporate America, you say good enough for government work. Well, we understand that government work is essential and important and hard, as well as corporate America. But small startups, tech startups, we have very limited money and we have limited time to reach our goals and milestones. So there's a level of determination and drive you have to have. And our team is literally remote in most regards are hybrid. So, not everyone can function in an environment where they're pretty much left to their own devices to be motivated and execute. And with young people or people new, sometimes, and this could be old people. Let me just take, I always say that we don't do generational chauvinism. So, no ageism. So no matter what age, sometimes people don't like to ask questions. And anytime you're in a new position, new place, new something, please ask as many questions. Being, a radio host as well as a co-founder of a startup, oftentimes much of my time is spent speaking, but most of the things I talk about came from me listening. And so it's so important to be a great listener and a great student at all times. Literally, we're going to be lifelong learners. And the the esteem that people hold for being a student sometimes is not there. But I even tell, again, my interns and my staff and my colleagues, the teacher will appear when the student is ready. So if you don't have a willing listener that's ready to to learn, no teaching is going to be done. I don't care how much talking the so-called professor is doing, unless the student is ready, there's no teaching going on. So it's important, especially when you're new, even if you're older, if you're in a new environment, new application, don't assume you know. It's better to assume you don't know and know than assume you know and not know. So it's really one of those things where, ego shouldn't be in the way. I think self-esteem is self. You got to always have self-esteem. That's full stop. But ego that can get in the way of your development. And even when talking to my interns or even new employees, correction is something that's a blessing because it gives you an opportunity to do it right. And I so oftentimes run into people when they just start off and they don't like being corrected, or they'll say or do things that aren't conducive to them actually learning more. And in your first few weeks, there's no dumb question. I think sometimes people try to make it seem like you're dumb, but if you don't ask the question, you're not going to know forever. If you do ask the question, you just eliminated that problem. So it's very important, and I think all of us just know that this journey is about being a lifelong learner. And talking is great, but you probably get more out of listening. And we appreciate all our listeners. Like I said, that's not a plug for all y'all who listen to I Love Black People, but we definitely appreciate it. And with that being said, we're kicking off a big summer. As you know, and if you haven't known, we made some new revisions to our current I Love Black People app. Initially, we spent most of our energy on creating a database with a directory to allow us to crowdsource these Black-friendly Pan-African places. What we've received back as feedback from all of you who've downloaded and used it is that we need to make it more community oriented. People don't just want to, share information about Black safe or Black friendly places. They want to talk to other folks who are engaged, who are Pan-Africanists, who are about our community. So what we've actually started, and this is, all this is in a beta, so we're testing it, and we definitely need you to help us test it. Is we have a community chat that we now have included as a part of the app, so that literally you'll be able to now have conversations with other members of I Love Black People. Woo! Yay! I know y'all are cheering for that. Now that we can actually come together through the app, and we've been coming together on WhatsApp and all these social media outlets, but we don't control those. If someone wants to, as we've seen with the changing of ownership and all these hearings that we heard by politicians and what's going on with these social media giants and outlets, we don't. I'm not going to say we don't trust, but we rather have these conversations on platforms that are created by us, for us, to build for us. So literally, we now have the app so that you can literally be a part of the conversation and not just share. Like sharing the safe places is essential. we're not here just to be talking. And again, I just said that we'll be able to share information and be a part of community. But even that, we're not here to play dream or drift or to, to to gossip. We're here to actually make a difference. We're not here to change our wardrobe or change our car or watches. We're here to change the world for ourselves, our families, and for the masses of our people who deserve the best of the best that the world has to offer. So that's a lot. And in order to do those things, we got to have a certain level of discipline. And sometimes there can be distractions to that. So we're definitely going to be clear that when having a community model, it's not for people to scam and scam and spam. They sound almost the same, but we're going to have a very, it's going to be moderated, and the conversations are literally going to be focused on the topic. And we don't tolerate any misogyny, any anti anything. We don't call people out their names. It's all right to say black or white or Asian or whatever. People know who their identities are. There's nothing wrong with that. But calling people out of their names is unacceptable. There's nothing. This space on purpose is about positivity, even with the identifying black friendly spaces. We're not here to say what spaces are hateful. That doesn't mean that information shouldn't be available somewhere. On our application, we focus on the positive, full stop. We notice, and as many of you have noticed through social media, how easy it is for negativity to get legs and to be spread, and how hard it is for positivity. So if there's a shoe store that's racist, don't go there. But that still means you probably still need shoes. So our focus is where should we go as opposed to where we should not go. And that's not to say there are not other ways to do that. And this is why I say to folks, in some cases, there's some things that are fundamental to our startup. And if you disagree with it, I think it's fair. That's why people can start their own startups. I tell people the reason why we started our startup was because we didn't see what we were looking for in the world. So we said we're going to create it. Full stop. And the ability to do that is, is a wonderful thing to be able to do it with technology. Becomes super amazing because digital technology is very scalable. It's actually it has zero marginal costs to grow. If you have a barbershop, every chair you add, if you have a taxi company, every car you add, if you have a hotel company, every room you build out, there's a cost. But when you talk about digital platforms, the growth of Uber doesn't matter because it doesn't own the cars. The growth of Airbnb, it doesn't matter. It doesn't own the hotels. So it becomes something that can grow exponentially. And what we're doing is growing safe spaces for our people where we literally can build exponentially. And not only the places, because that was our focus, but even with the addition and as we developed the beta and the trial of the communities component, it's really the people that are interested in sharing safe places that are the key to what we're building, not the location, not the addresses. The addresses are a manifestation of a person who's discerned as well as showed a level of altruism where they're willing to share with other people their views of safe places. That act alone is amazing, especially in a capitalist society where people make it about themselves. For our members to share and be willing to give information that could help our people make better decisions so that they can be safe and treated with dignity and respect. That's the real secret sauce. It really is about us, our minds, our knowledge, and then using that knowledge in a constructive way, no matter how much money people have in their pockets. So often we hear about people talking about, financial literacy and generational wealth. All those things are fair enough. Where our focus is on literally building a global safety net where no matter where we are or what we're doing in the world, we can go about our lives fearlessly. And we deserve that. We deserve that. God made us free. It's man who takes it away. So we deserve to be free anywhere we go and treated with dignity and respect. That being said, You know, if that's not the case, it's up to us to make that happen. And I say that in a way, if there's people doing deliberate things to harm us, we should do deliberate things to protect ourselves. I know y'all thought I was going to say deliberate things to hurt them back, but let me just say this, and this is Fred Hampton's, not me. He said, "You fight fire with water, not fire. We burn all ourselves down with fire. Violence and all the things that we've seen going on only begets more violence. What we are building is something that protects us from those things that are being done deliberately to harm us. And with that safety net, we think the prosperity that people talk about when they talk about generational wealth or financial literacy, we think that's the true key. Our relationships are the most priceless, indispensable way to literally create the quality of life and the manifest, our true potential as humans that than anything else. So the economic system of capitalism probably is more detrimental than it is helpful. But in spite of any of the systems we're in, if we work together collectively through a collective self-determination so that we can actually help each other, we'll literally not only create safe spaces, we'll be able to create a mutual aid society that we all can participate in and literally make sure that our families are doing well in our communities beyond the borders that separate us, allow us to have the lives that we deserve. But we're the ones we've been waiting on to make that happen. So this summer we have our biggest push as we develop the app and as we're again making it more user friendly, make it more useful for you, because that's key. In the tech world, we call it uh, product market fit. What's important with in technology, be it an iPhone or something like Airbnb, these are entities that the people, by giving their feedback, help them get what they call product market fit. So product market fit is what your product does. What does, excuse me, the actual product itself, is it something that the market wants? Is it something that people want? And it's important to create that. And once you create that, which the way you know that you created it is something they call oftentimes virality. It goes viral. And that's when people literally are sharing, talking about whatever you're doing without you having to spend gazillions of dollars of advertising. You could always advertise something and get people to do it, but again, the cost of this advertisement, and we talk about the unit cost for each of your the service or the product. So you want to make sure that the benefit that people are receiving from whatever startup service or product you have, that they literally can't live without it. And that's with your support, we're going to create that, because those of you who are listening, those who already downloaded our app and joined us, you're what they call our early adopters. You're the ones who said, look, this is something I'm interested in. Even if it doesn't have everything, these are the things we think are important. We'd love for you to also add these changes, and we're constantly listening to your feedback. And that's what we use. We call it the lean startup methodology. And in the old days, when I was starting off in engineering, and I worked for companies that made airplanes as well as the space shuttle and incubator for babies, oftentimes they would have the development take place really in a bubble with away from everybody, and you'd have all these so-called smart people coming up with all these ideas. And by the time we got it from the concept to the pilot to the actual full production, the market had passed on and said we don't want this anymore. So what the lean startup methodology is, instead of you coming up with what you think all the things that people want, come up with a minimum viable product, MVP. Come up with a minimum things you think people want to see. Go to market as quickly as possible. If you wait till it's perfect, you waited too long. Get what you're doing to market and let the market instruct you on how to move forward. And the folks that come in early are so valuable because they're your early adopters. They're the ones who just like with iPhone, there's people who get download, they buy the iPhone as soon as it comes out, even though they got to send you some downloads to fix and have patches for the different things. There's a group of people that no matter what want to be the first ones to have the iPhone, and those people are the ones that set the tone for the development of that product. You as a listener, you as a member who's become a part of this journey, you're our early adopter. You're the ones who are critical to the development of our solution to protect our people from the harms and humiliations of racism and Afrophobia. With your support, through an incredible gift of Pan-African unity, we can build those things. And that's what we're doing with your support. So with our interns, they're going to be working, and our focus is going to be, a lot of it is going to be in DC, but we definitely, as you know, we're global and we have an intern in Zimbabwe now. It's focused on a campaign that we call Love and Protect Our Children. And we're using our app to organize volunteer advocates, we're calling them advocates, to stop youth gun violence in the DMV. And we're focused around a operation we call Operation HBCU Oasis. In our concept, we're saying within 10 miles of any historically Black college, it should be a safe haven. It should be a place where the young Black and gifted can go and be treated with dignity and respect. So be it a mile or 10 miles, what we're saying is that those communities where HBCUs are, they should be communities that are literally thriving with the youth and not being harmed by the youth. And so if we are able to leverage the brains in the room, there's more of us of goodwill as loving Black people than those who would try to harm us as Black people. And we're literally getting folks to download our app so they can participate in being advocates to stop youth gun violence. And we're working with Ronald Moten, and he has the DC Go-Go Museum and Cafe, and his body of work in violence de-escalation is pushed up with these algorithms, and they get more likes than the positive. We can change that. Just imagine 500 likes in their friends. So every 500, for the 500 folks who organize, they all at least got 10 other friends. That quickly becomes 5,000. And all it is about us deliberately working together, no matter where we are in life, to do something very intentional to stop youth gun violence. And we're also are going to be working with other tech developers on coming up with ideas to use technology to stop youth gun violence. And we have a pitch competition that's going to have about $10,000 worth of prizes that literally is about coming up with groundbreaking ideas on how to protect our children from youth gun violence. And we'll be culminate and take place at the Black Blockchain Summit that we hosted Howard University every year for the last, now going on 7 years, in September 20th and 21st. So much going on this summer, so much work. We're delighted, the fact that we can use our expertise to make a difference for our families and our communities is something that is inspirational. The interns that we bring on board, again, they're in for a lot of hard work, but a lot of fun, taking their skills and using them in ways that elevate our best that our people have to offer. And we're so grateful to have our young people. And as we say, we don't believe in generational chauvinism. So every generation, and as Frantz Fanon said, out of relative obscurity, must fulfill its destiny or betray it. So we're trying to do our everything to help our young people fulfill their destiny and not betray it. And we, as the elders in the room, or older folks, as we get older, God bless me, longevity does have its place. We can continue to fulfill our calling. And this is also, I tell my friends my age, it's never too late. Like literally, if you see that you've been on a path, even if it was 20 years, that wasn't the best path for you, there's always an opportunity to wake up and make that change. So we encourage everyone to be, followers of their calling and to do everything that we can to collaborate and work together in order to make that happen. We're so thankful for all the work that's already gone, our previous interns and employees. Shout out to all of you. I want to say I've become better as a co-founder. So some of you might not necessarily have the best of me, but I'm better than I was yesterday, and I'm definitely going to be better tomorrow with your support. So we're very thankful, as always, to have you with us. If you got any questions, info@iloveblackpeople.com, info@iloveblackpeople.com. We're going to be attending some conferences throughout the summer. Consensus, Money 2020 Europe, Blockchain, Nashville, the African Tech Summit, so many things that we're doing because we're a tech startup, a Pan-African tech startup, that's serious about protecting our people. And as I always close, I am because we couldn't do what we do without you. Thank you so much.
This is I Love Black People Radio on HUR Voices, Sirius XM, Channel 141. I Love Black People is more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong worldwide. I am because we are. Special thanks to AFLAC for supporting I Love Black People Radio.